Hi, everybody. Scott Riley, the Market Update Desk. It is Monday, December 8th. Hope everybody had a fantastic weekend. I had an excellent Saturday. Why? Because the Ohio BuckNuts lost to Indiana magically 13 to 10, just like the score of the U of M game last night. So that made the weekend well worthwhile, even though we are now looking outside and it is very chilly in the teens, I believe. So we got a lot to cover from the end of last week with a lot of data that got dropped, and kind of go over that, what the effect's been in the market. Last week we saw the Challenger job cuts, and that showed that there were 71,321 job cuts announced for November. Now, that is a large number. It's less than what the market planned on, and it is a drop from the October number, which was a blowout number. But year to date, that's what we want to concentrate on. 1.17 million announced job cuts. So there's significant impact there. That's a 54% jump from the same period 11 months ago in 2024. So big jump in announced layoffs. Um, we would have had actually probably a higher number in the job layoffs number, but what companies are doing, they are using fewer hours per week and not replacing retired workers to help try to offset some of the layoffs, and that balances out some of their labor costs by doing it that way. Initial jobless claims fell to 191,000. That was less than expected, so the market did like that. Now, a lot of that downturn in jobless claims did come from specifically California and Texas. Continuing claims, though, did stay above 1.9 million, showing that it is hard to find new long-term employment after being initially let go. Had a wild ride in the stock market as it relates to Netflix. On Friday, we had Netflix come out and announce a $78 billion offer for Warner Brothers Discovery. It's kind of one of the last legacy media, studios that are out there. They've got a huge portfolio and library of entertainment. Since then, uh, the Ellisons came out today via Paramount and announced an offer, a potential takeover offer of 108 billion. So we got a little bit of a fight going on between huge companies for, like I said, one of the last remaining independent studios that are out there. Last week, core PCE came in actually a little better than expected. Showed core PCE was up 0.2, better than the market expected at 0.3. Year to date, we dropped from 2.9% to 2.8%. So we're getting a little bit of potential cooling in the inflation numbers. Now, something that was very interesting to watch was income. Personal income went up 0.4%, lower than expected, and personal spending only went up by 0.3. Both of those were 1/10 miss. Now, within those numbers specifically, we saw goods services increase by 0.5%, and then we saw services increase by 0.2%. Food did go up 0.4%, and energy all the way up to up 1.7%, specifically on the back of oil and gasoline pricing. Now, what we watch very closely are shelter costs within this PCE. We are starting to finally continue to see some deceleration in shelter. In its totality, it was up 0.15%. Rents were up 0.2%. Owner's equivalent rent, that's the kind of variable we always get hit on usually, that cooled to 0.14%. So shelter year to date is down to plus 3.7%. So we're seeing that deceleration, which is showing up in those core numbers. Within the BLS jobs report last week, an interesting part stuck out. That was the differential or the spread between wage gains for existing job stayers and job changers. We saw job changers fall 0.3%. So the gap between those two parties is starting to narrow. It shows that poaching, trying to go get other talent, maybe isn't going to continue the way that we saw, especially in the COVID time period where it was a huge jump. Now we're sitting in the 10-year Treasury down to 4.1682%. Once again, we bounced off that 4%, and we've been battling between 4.001% barrier and a top end barrier of 4.17. So we're watching it very, very closely. Now, based on all that economic data, the big number or the big data point that's going to come out this week is the December 10th Fed meeting. Now, we've gone all the way up to a 90% chance of a Fed cut. So we're going to kind of wait to see specifically what the commentary is going to be within that, because we are starting to see some differences, more vocal within the committee. And also, we're coming to the close of a couple of the committee members' terms. Later this month, we're going to get the announcement of who specifically is who's going to be announced for the next Fed chair. So we'll keep you up to date on everything. We got a purchase agreement over the weekend. We're doing a Michigan down payment assistance that we've committed to close by the end of the month. We're here to make things happen. Scott Riley, the Market Update Desk, your original singular market news source for West Michigan. Look forward to hearing from you. 616-293-2189. Let's go for anybody that's playing Ohio State. Take care, everybody.